Hi there. Welcome to the Lifestyle Herbalist Podcast, where we hope to bring you a healthy dose of happiness. I'm your host, Dabney-BS, clinical herbalist, health coach, lover of plants.
And I'm Sabrina Cooper, registered culinary holistic nutritionist and herbalist. Join us as we dive into the art of herbalism, mindfulness, and healthy lifestyle practices to help you achieve a happier and healthier life. Whether you're a seasoned herbalist or just starting your wellness journey, we're here to provide you with the insights, tips, and inspiration for a more balanced and joyful existence. So grab your favorite herbal tea, sit back, and let's get a healthy dose of happiness together.
Hey, welcome back. So picture this. There's a tiny, invisible gas molecule cruising through your veins right now. It dilates your blood vessels, protects your heart, it fights off gum disease, and even helps your brain stay sharp. No, it's not some sci-fi nanobot. It's actually nitric oxide, and your body literally can't function without it. Yet, here's the crazy part. Most people have no idea it even exists. And worse, modern diets, mouthwash, and poor lifestyle habits are killing our nitric oxide levels, leading to high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, gum disease, and even dementia. So, let's fix that. Buckle up, because we're going to dive into the secret world of nitric oxide, where it comes from, why it's your body's most valuable player, and how to keep it flowing like the fountain of youth. So, where does nitric oxide come from? And it's not a pill. So there's no easy take this every day and it's going to be great. Your body makes nitric oxide in two main ways. First, eating. We have talked many times on this podcast about the importance of nutrition and food. And have you ever wondered why Popeye chugged spinach? Okay, fine. It was really for the iron, but he was also boosting his nitric oxide. And here's how it works. When you eat nitrate-rich foods like beets, arugula, spinach, and celery, it feeds your friendly bacteria in your mouth, and it converts nitrates into nitrites. And these nitrates then turn into nitric oxide in your blood. And believe it or not, that conversion happens on the very back part of your tongue. Right? Really cool. But here's the plot twist. If you nuke those mouth bacteria with alcohol-based mouth rinses, you destroy your nitric oxide supply before it even gets started. More on that later. Your blood vessels have a built-in nitric oxide factory. It's an enzyme called ENOS, and that pumps out nitric oxide to keep them relaxed and flexible. The problem is that the system can break down with age, poor diet, or sitting all day, which many of us tend to do anymore. And yes, a desk job is literally stiffening your arteries. Nitric oxide is like a secret weapon. So the reason blood vessels relax and expand is because of nitric oxide. The more nitric oxide, the better the circulation, the lower your blood pressure, and well, let's say it helps other things stay firm too. And it's like a germ-killing ninja in your mouth. So your gums are actually loaded with lots of nitric oxide, which helps fight off bacteria that cause gum disease and bad breath. But having a low nitric oxide means more cavities, more inflammation, and one-way ticket to gum recession city. It supercharges your workouts and your brain. Beets are actually loaded with nitric oxide. And there are many athletes who actually chug beet juice before a game. And that's because it helps them get more oxygen to their muscles, which equals better endurance. And they're going to play the game better and likely win. And if your brain runs low on blood flow, Nitric oxide keeps you sharp and focused. It's actually the missing link between your mouth and your heart. Gum disease is actually fueled by bacteria, but it also has something to do with low nitric oxide. Inflammation in the blood vessels is higher risk of heart disease. And yep, your dentist wasn't lying. Cleaning in between your teeth actually does save your life. So how do you harness this nitric oxide, this important gas that is so important to our health and vitality? Well, beets, like I said, is the ultimate nitric oxide booster. But things like leafy greens, like spinach, arugula, kale, all are rich in nitric oxide. And even dark chocolate. So yes, there are some fun things you can have. Really, have some dark chocolate. It's loaded with nitric oxide. Pomegranate is nitric oxide's fancy cousin. So having these things can help your body stay high and rich in nitric oxide. The other thing is stop murdering your bacteria. Lay off the alcohol mouth rinse. It kills good bacteria that make nitric oxide. It also messes with your gut microbiome as well, leading to other issues in the gut. Try oil pulling or a probiotic rinse, or things like probiotics for your mouth can be very helpful. Don't forget, we've talked about this before in our podcast about breathing. Nasal breathing is so important. That actually helps your microbiome to stay healthy. Mouth breathing dries out the saliva and reduces nitric oxide production. If you are a mouth breather, feel free to reach out to me. I have some ideas that can help you become a nasal breather again. There's also books about nitric oxide. There is also information about nasal breathing versus mouth breathing. And I would encourage you, if you're curious about just the fundamental part of it and the systemic impact of mouth breathing, look up information via Google and look at the research. Also, move your body. Often we've said use it or lose it. Well, if you don't move your body, you're going to lose your nitric oxide. Exercise equals more nitric oxide production, and sitting starves off nitric oxide, which means starves off your arteries. And get some sun. Sunlight triggers nitric oxide release from your skin. So, of course, you want to be careful that you don't get burned, but having some sun helps our conversion of vitamin D. That also helps our skin and helps our body as well and our immune system. Sometimes with our best intentions, we think that we're doing things the right way because we have listened to our doctors, our providers, our friends, we've listened to social media, and we're just trying to do the right thing to be healthy. But sometimes these healthy habits are actually wrecking your nitric oxide. There was a shocking study that showed an antibacterial mouth rinses reduces nitric oxide production by 90% in just 24 hours. Because it basically massacres all the nitrate converting bacteria. We need the good bacteria in our mouth, people, in order for us to have health. These mouth rinses are full of alcohol and constituencies in their chemicals, basically, that wreak havoc in your mouth, causes dysbiosis, and it actually, in the long term, causes dental disease more than promoting it. It also messes with your gut microbiome, leading to gut-brain axis issues as well. So fresh breath, if you want it, means it's going to stiffen your arteries and you could actually end up with high blood pressure. So switch to something containing xylitol. There are some mouth rinses by Spry, S-P-R-Y, that are alcohol-free and have xylitol in them that actually promote fresh breath, but it also helps to promote your nitric oxide. Or use a probiotic rinse. Or the main thing is just clean your teeth well. The reason your breath stinks is probably because you're not cleaning in between your teeth well. And if you have a bunch of bacteria that's sitting there pumping out toxins, it stinks. rotting things stink. It just does. So throw out the mouth rinses and at least the alcohol ones, and just clean your teeth well. The other thing is there is a huge push with protein powder, and having too much arginine actually can backfire because of the feedback loop. L-arginine is a common nitric oxide supplement, but it can actually deplete nitric oxide long-term if it's overused. And as Americans, we are queen and king of overuse. A better alternative is to use citrulline, and it converts arginine only when it's needed. So your gym's bro pre-workout might actually be turning his arteries into concrete. So just be aware and don't overuse things. The other thing that I have talked about before and actually did a research paper about is antacids. We are overusing antacids, and even our FDA warns us not to use antacids for more than 14 days and not more than twice a year. Why? Because it causes stomach issues like cancer. So the stomach acid connection, our stomach acid is needed to activate nitrate into absorbing pathways. So those PPIs like Prilosec and Nexus, it creates a 25% higher heart attack risk, partially due to nitric oxide disruption. You can combat some of these acid issues with having a little apple cider vinegar or betadine HCl. And just don't overuse the antacids. Typically, when there's things like that needed, it's typically related back to a food. So our food is supposed to give us energy. It's supposed to make us feel good. And after an hour, if you're not feeling well, then you have eaten something that your body has said it doesn't like. And the result is heartburn and indigestion. So figure it out. Your doctor isn't going to be able to figure this out for you. You're going to have to figure this out yourself because you live with yourself 24/7. You see your doctor for 10 minutes a couple times a year, maybe. There's no way they're going to be able to figure out what you're eating that's causing this happen to you. And again, as Americans, we just throw a pill on it and keep rolling on. Better to get to the root of the problem. The other thing, which is more difficult, and we had a podcast last week about pollution and air quality, is exhaust and smog directly impact and damage our nitric oxide. We have Wi-Fi, 5G. It may interfere with nitric oxide signaling. And emerging research is coming to show that there are certainly ramifications with so much wireless activity going on. Have some indoor plants. These naturally purify your air, and it also helps with grounding. Just seeing plants can bring relaxation. Go barefoot outside in the grass. It's summertime here where I am. So grounding, walking barefoot, it can help with nitric oxide conversions. The other thing is low carb diet means low nitrate intake. So unless you're eating 5 cups of spinach a day, you're probably not getting the nitric intake that you need. With these carnivore diets, they are tending not to have as many of the rich leafy green vegetables, beets, things like that. So just be mindful in having we should have a rainbow on our plate. It shouldn't be brown and white. We should have a rainbow. And ketosis also reduces nitric oxide vasodilation effects. And studies are showing higher blood pressure in some keto folks. Again, there is no one size fits all. There is no diet that is great for everyone. You have to pay attention to what your body says to you. So try to have some beets, some pomegranate, some celery juice, and that nasal breathing, really important. It increases nasal nitric oxide by 15%. Cold showers which I am not a huge fan of, but cold exposure, it can spike nitric oxide and sometimes 200%. And red light therapy, which I am a fan of, it boosts nitric oxide production in our mitochondria. And we all need those powerhouses in our mitochondria. So the final verdict is protect your nitric oxide like your life depends on it, because it truly does. It is the ultimate health hack. It's hidden in your salad, made in your mouth, and critical for everything from your heart, to your sex life. So next time you're about to drown your mouth in Listerine or skip the beets at dinner, ask yourself, do I really want to make my nitric oxide supply upset? But trust me, your arteries, your gums, and your future self will thank you. So today, try to eat one thing that has nitrates in it, like a beet smoothie, a kale salad, some arugula, and don't forget to breathe through your nose. Try remembering to breathe from your nose for the next hour. Your nitric oxide levels will start to climb, and so will your health. In weeks to come, I hope to talk more about nitric oxide and maybe talk a bit about giving you guidelines for your gut and how your gut is hijacking your nitric oxide production. The microbiome is very important in our gut as well as our mouth. If this episode resonates with you or you know someone who could benefit from this information, please feel free to pass it along. And I would love to know what you are going to incorporate differently now that you have this information on hand. Whether it's going to be a beet smoothie, celery juice, maybe a kale salad, I'd love to know what you're going to do differently. And just leave me a note in the comments. And if you need help navigating health and have questions about your oral health, systemic health, I see clients on one-on-one, and I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. So until next week, enjoy life.